Now in the last video, we took Anthony and we converted his standard deviation to a height. But now we're going to take a female, Sarah, we're going to take her height and convert it to a standard deviation. So here we have Sarah is 63 inches tall, so that puts her right here. What is her standard deviation? Well, being that she's perfectly on our first marking back there, that means that her standard deviation is -1. That one's pretty easy because she lies on the line. Let's try a harder one. So now we have Sarah, and she's 66.75 inches tall. I like to look at the scale and go put it on there to make an estimate. We know she's right around here. Now we kind of have a guess. Maybe she's about half of a standard deviation, but we need to check that mathematically. So we want to compare her height to the average height. I usually like to go back to the average. You can go to another standard deviation if you're farther out, but let's go to our average since that's actually one of the closest things we have. So 66.75 inches is how tall she is. Let's subtract that average from her. Let's figure out how many inches above average she is. So if I subtract those, we get 1.25. Now remember, that's how many inches she is off the average. We want to convert that to standard deviation. Well, we know a standard deviation for women is 2.5 inches. She's only 1.25 inches. Now we can kind of do that math if you think money. That, of course, is double. But if we take that 1.25, that's how many inches she is off the average, and cut it into chunks of 2.5, which is a standard deviation, we know she is 0.5 standard deviations off the mean. Not bad because, again, it's another reasonable number. So let's look at one more example. Now she's 64 inches tall. That puts her about right here. A little bit, pretty close to -1, but we want to actually calculate that. So again, I like to take her height first and then subtract it from the mean. This will just tell me how far Sarah is in inches off the average. So she is -1.5 inches off the mean. I need to convert that into chunks of 2.5. Again, a chunk of each of these measurements is a 2.5 inch standard. So what portion of a 2.5 is -1.5? I'll divide that. So in this case, she is -0.6 standard deviations off the mean. Again, you can kind of see my pattern in these last few. You would take the person's average, the person's height minus the average and divide it by the standard deviation. That would give you the person's standard deviation.